We have 21 minutes now to go to the hour of 8 o'clock. Our agent Sharita joins us now as we always head into our real estate bag to find out how we can solve some of our real estate issues. Agent Sharita, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Listen, oh, I like the way you said that. Good morning to you. You took me from a pause, girl. Really sweet. Now listen, today we want to look at why it's such a bad thing to rent to relatives. Why you use the word terrible. So, I mean, terrible is worse than
Verbal.
bad.
Well. So you have to remember that a
Hmm.
rental is a business arrangement, business. And, your family,
Yes.
they're going to come saying, yes, we're going to go according to your business terms. Now, you just turned down somebody last week from renting your house because in screening them, they just didn't fit the right profile. But all of a sudden, John comes frantic because, where he is, he gotta leave and hang, and he needs some place to rent. We's
Hmm.
family, please
Hmm.
we. If you could put me, don't worry, I can sign the lease and thing, pay, do it, I can do it how you want it and thing, and we good.
Yes.
We's family. Bad idea. Don't do it, Pearson.
Yes.
And
But
I'm gonna tell
why?
you why.
But why? I mean, it's my heart. Blood comes first, isn't it? No, business.
As I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by Pearson. Family, just not the best tenants. Okay, so
Yes,
let's give
yes.
this hypothetical scenario. So John says, yes, he moving in. You agree because he's family, he can do you right. And then you say, but John, so we can still keep it official and then I can have you sign a lease and make the deposit. Yeah, sure.
Hmm.
But then things get frantic. He's moving in, he's in a mad rush, and he tells you, Auntie, well, I ain't got time now, but
Hmm.
I will sign it and get that deposit to you, not a problem at all, before the end of the week. And you acquiesce because
Yes.
he's family.
That's right. That's right.
All of a sudden, we gone into week number 2 and there's radio silence. But Auntie, relax. Relax. I got you. I had to use some of the money to get extra furniture and then.
Hmm. Hmm.
Relax by the end of the week. And oh, by the way, you don't have any issue if I bring in my dog.
Oh,
Well, no, we don't do dogs here. Remember, this isn't a pet friendly thing. Oh, okay, I was just checking.
yes, yes.
Then we go into week number 3, Pearson.
Hmm.
No money. You can't find him to sign anything, and business is just not going to be business with a
Yes.
family arrangement. And of course, I'm giving an exaggerated scenario, but sadly, in my world, I have seen this scenario play out in the last 2 months. So
Hmm.
it's not as exaggerated as you think.
A lot of
They
times
will.
we walk with our heart on our sleeves when it comes to our own relatives. We figure, all right, Kadir, again, the Kadir scenario hits into play here. But then you realize, you know what? No. You're going to take me for granted simply because I am your relative. But because I am your relative, here are some things that we're going to do before. And it's to be able to be strong enough to insist on it. It might fracture the family, just for a little while. But the point is, it's business. And that's what you're saying to me. Don't make the terrible
Yeah,
mistake. Still treat my relative as though we're doing business. Follow the same procedure to ensure that each of us and this relationship really works to our mutual benefit.
correct. And the thing is, I am going to be very real with you. Although you're saying treat it like business, my opinion is don't treat it at all.
Ah, yeah, I step back.
From what
At
I'm
all?
seeing, I don't recommend it, Pearson. I've been doing this for 17 years, and the worst situations have been when family has rented to family. Now, I know some of you are out there clutching your pearls, thinking that your nephew is downstairs as we speak, but you have to really, if you do go that route, you have to rein it in from the very beginning and be as official as can be, because sometimes they can take advantage of you. And
Hmm.
then guess what happens next? You become the family pariah at every family gathering.
Yes, yes,
Because you getting all funny with John. Like, what you
yes.
holding John all the time for little money and thing. He's family,
Hmm.
you know? So that's the other thing too. Family relationships externally will break down and you'll be seen as the big bad wolf because you're
Hmm.
not giving John a break. Meanwhile, you still have to pay the mortgage for which you often relied on that rent,
Yes.
and it isn't coming.
Yeah. And poor John takes,
So,
poor John, that's a name that takes the fall all the time. But you're right, you're absolutely right. You know, when we cross the line, that's what results when we don't treat it
yeah,
in the way we ought to treat it. But then there's the other
yeah,
side as well that says, you know, fine, John, you stay in the downstairs apartment, you can do whatever, but and we may have had that kind of relationship that is formalized in some way, but then it's time for John to move on, and John has left my space in a mess. And because he's family, I should understand as well. I should be able to work this out. Come on, go and clean the thing. That's John.
but here's the other deal. So remember you told him that no pets were allowed, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, Fido ended up coming through the back door and Fido lives in the apartment. Yeah? And the apartment that you created as a sanctuary for when people rent it, John doesn't treat it that way because he has no concept of value because it's
Yes.
not his. And after all, we're family.
Family.
So the thing is, when John leaves, you could end up in more debt than ever before
Mm-hmm.
because you now have to raise this like Lazarus from the dead and bring it
Yes.
back. You know, you might
Yes.
now have to inject thousands into that apartment to bring it back and restore it to what it was before. So then you have to ask yourself, was this even worth it? Did I benefit from trying to be, you know, a good
Mm-hmm.
family member, a good auntie, or whatever? I would say this: the last two properties that I went to within the last 2 months that had this kind of challenge, oh my goodness,
Oh.
it was almost like Hoarderville. The amount
Oh.
of stuff, personal items just strewn on the floor. There was no appreciation for the property because they never helped build it or contribute to it.
Yes.
It was horrible. So I recommend
Stay
think
far.
twice before you engage in
Yeah.
that type of rental.
Unless you've done your own calculations and figure, you know what, I could deal with the loss, whatever loss might come, stay far from the arrangement. It really truly is
Yeah.
not your safest arrangement going forward to rent to your property to a relative. It's fraught with too many challenges that are possible to occur. Sharita girl, I don't know. So what do you do? I mean, what does one do? It's my nephew, my niece, my brother, my sister who needs somewhere to stay. But you're saying to me,
All
put my
right.
heart aside. Put my heart aside. Not the time to let the
Yes.
heart come into play.
I would say this, Pearson, if you
Yeah.
know that they can make it on their own, recommend, even encourage them in their search and help them to find somewhere else,
Mm.
number one. Number two, if your heart weak, like most of you are, because I know I get in a lot of cuties this morning and there's a lot of hurt feelings. I'm sorry. If you're weak, make sure that you put your paper trail in place and be official about it. That's what's going to
Yes.
protect you. So even if you lower the rent or it's a third of what somebody normally pays,
Hmm.
still put provisions in place to make sure that it's dealt with like a transaction.
Yes.
That's all I got for you. But otherwise, avoid it. Please. Please.
I couldn't say it any better than that. Agent Shirin, as always, thank you so very much. It's good advice, though. It's really, truly good advice. And it's a line we shouldn't cross unless we absolutely have to cross it. And if we should cross it, the advice is to put it in writing. Make sure everything is documented
Yeah.
and put in writing so you protect yourself and your investment. As always, she can be found at 233-8888, 233-8888, or Barbados Real Estate 246 on social. Agent Sharita, as always, thank you so much, my friend.
You're welcome.
There she goes.